Hello and welcome to this weekend's trivia quiz. My name is Susan and thanks for joining me. Today's quiz has 10 rounds of 5 questions each. You'll have 10 seconds to answer each question, but please feel free to pause if you want more time. Coming up today, Looney Tunes, word chains, Scott Who, close-ups, purple, guess the face, World War II, bread or cheese, first names, and dogs. Grab a pen and paper to keep your score and let's get started. Round 1, Looney Tunes. Name these 5 Looney Tunes characters. That's Daffy Duck. That's Wile E. Coyote. That's Foghorn Leghorn. That's the Tasmanian Devil, sometimes called Taz. And finally for this round, that's Marvin the Martian. Round 2, word chains. Join the phrases with the word they have in common. In this round, each question has 2 clues. Each clue's answer is a well-known phrase, film, song, person, etc. The 2 answers share one word. The first ends with it, the second begins with it. Your task is to work out the full combined phrase. Let's see an example. What links a Bryan Cranston drama and a Lady Gaga song? That's Breaking Bad and Bad Romance, making the full combined answer Breaking Bad Romance. What links a Rowan Atkinson comic character with a fairy tale plant with a giant at the top? That's Mr. Beanstalk. What links the adversary of Ming the Merciless and a bad-tempered celebrity chef? That's Flash Gordon Ramsay. What links a British slang term for the police and a Microsoft co-founder? That's Old Bill Gates. What links a 6 times Wimbledon singles winner and a 1933 film starring Fay Wray? That's Billie Jean King Kong. And finally, what links a United States name for a common wasp and a baked starchy vegetable? That's yellow jacket potato. Round 3, Scott Who. Name these well-known people called Scott. Which Scott played Chachi in the sitcom Happy Days? That was Scott Baio. Which Scott wrote the novels The Great Gatsby and Tender is the Night? That's F. Scott Fitzgerald. Which Scott directed the 1991 film Thelma and Louise? That's Ridley Scott. Which Scott was a composer and pianist known as the King of Ragtime? That was Scott Joplin. And finally, which Scott played Captain Jonathan Archer in Star Trek Enterprise? That's Scott Bakula. Round 4, Close-ups. Name the everyday objects shown in extreme close-up. That's a close-up of a needle and thread. That's sweet corn. That's bubbles. That's a close-up of a tennis ball. And finally for this round, that's a close-up mushroom. Round 5, purple. 5 trivia questions, all with a purple theme. Which 2 paint colours are mixed to make purple? That's blue and red. Which band released the 1973 song Smoke on the Water? That was Deep Purple. Which US military decoration is awarded to those wounded or killed in the line of duty? That's the Purple Heart. Which Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle wears a purple bandana? That's Donatello. And finally for this round, what term describes writing that is excessively ornate or flowery? That's known as purple prose. Are you enjoying today's quiz? If so, why not like the video, leave a comment and subscribe. It's free and it really helps the channel. Now on with the rest of today's questions. Round 6, guess the face. Identify these pixelated famous faces. That's Leonardo DiCaprio. That's Catherine, the Princess of Wales. That's Meryl Streep. That's Quentin Tarantino. And finally for this round, that's Mark Zuckerberg. Round 7, World War II. 5 questions about the Second World War. Who was British Prime Minister when Britain declared war on Germany in September 1939? That was Neville Chamberlain. Which British singer became known as the Force's sweetheart during World War II? That was Vera Lynn. What was the code name for the Allied invasion of Normandy launched on the 6th of June 1944? That was called Operation Overlord. Which German World War II commander was nicknamed the Desert Fox? That was Field Marshal Rommel. And finally, what was the name of the secret US wartime project to develop the atomic bomb? That was called the Manhattan Project. Round 8, bread or cheese. Is it a bread or is it a cheese? Is brioche a type of bread or a type of cheese? Brioche is an enriched French bread. Is Gruyere a type of bread or a type of cheese? Gruyere is a Swiss cheese. Is provolone a type of bread or a type of cheese? Provolone is an Italian cheese. Is bannock a type of bread or a type of cheese? Originating in Scotland, bannock is a type of bread. And finally, is challah a type of bread or a type of cheese? Challah is a Jewish bread. Round 9, first names. What are the first names of these fictional characters? What's the first name of Charles Dickens' character Scrooge? He's called Ebenezer Scrooge. From Jeeves and Wooster, what is Wooster's first name? He's called Bertie Wooster or Bertram. From Matilda, what is Miss Trunchbull's first name? She's called Agatha Trunchbull. What is the first name of TV detective Kojak? He was Theo Kojak. And finally for this round, from Alien, what is the first name of Lieutenant Ripley? She's Ellen Ripley. Round 10, dogs. Name these 5 breeds of dog. That's a bulldog. That's an Irish setter. That's a Basset hound. That's a Samoyed. And finally for today's quiz, that's an Australian cattle dog. So that's it for today's quiz. Thanks so much for watching, and how did you do? Let me know your score in the comments. And if you've made it this far, here's a bonus question. Which cartoon TV series is about a family of Australian cattle dogs? If you know the answer, put it in the comments. Here's some links to some other quizzes you might like, and if you haven't already, why not subscribe, and then I might see you in another video.